Okay, well, let's see. Let's take a look at worksheet number 2. Here you guys are identifying the independent variable, the dependent variable, the experimental group, and the control group. So it's a little bit different than worksheet 1, but basically the same thing, and these are all experiments. Number 1, a group of college students were given a short course in speed reading. The instructor was curious if a monetary incentive would influence performance on a reading test taken at the end of the course. Half the students were offered $5 for obtaining a certain level of performance. The other half were not offered money. So obviously, the money is the independent variable. The dependent variable is their scores on a test. This experimenter thinks that the financial incentive will cause the students to do better. Maybe you guys agree that if I offered you a financial incentive, gave you money for higher grades, maybe you'd study more. Experimental group is the group always that gets the independent variable, the $5, whatever it is that I think is going to affect behavior, cause a change in behavior. The control group is the group that does not get the money. They just prepare for the exam as they normally would. 2, a social psychologist thinks that people are more likely to conform to a large crowd than to a single person. To test this hypothesis, the social psychologist had either 1 or 5 persons stand on a busy walking path on campus, and looking up, the psychologist stood nearby and counted the number of people passing by who also looked up. This is a study, by the way, that's been done many, many times. And when one person looks up, or especially when more than one person looks up, a bunch of people end up looking up to try to figure out what they're looking at. Okay? So the independent variable is the 5 people, the crowd looking up. Dependent variable is how many people look up, either based on the crowd of 5 or the 1 person looking up. Experimental group, the 5 people. Control group, when 1 person looks up. Again, the control group is always the comparison group. Everything is the same between the experimental group and the control group, except what? That's right, the independent variable. 3, to test a new voice feature in a cockpit design, a flight simulator was used. The simulator was programmed to give visual readings of flight information, or to give visual and auditory voice readings of flight information. All test pilots were put through a simulated emergency landing procedure, but were randomly assigned to the visual or visual and auditory conditions. Flight experts then rated each pilot's performance on a scale from 1 poor to 10 excellent. Independent variable, the visual and auditory voice readings of flight information. Dependent variable, just the visual readings. Experimental group, those that had the visual and auditory readings. The control group, those that just had the visual. Okay? Hopefully you guys did well on that. And again, if you guys are getting all these right on these worksheets, then this is all you need in terms of for the experimental method, which, by the way, is the biggest part of the exam. This is really how you study, is by doing these. If you're getting these right, you're going to get the ones on the exam right, because they're easier than these, I promise. Worksheet 3. You may be asking, is this all I have to do on a Saturday night? And the answer is no. So I'm getting this done now so I can do something a little more fun, like I'm sure you guys are all doing. Number 1, student watched it. Here we're just identifying independent and dependent variables. Student watched a cartoon either alone or with others and then rated how funny the cartoon would be. Independent variable, watching it with others. Dependent variable, watching it alone. 2, comprehension test was given to students after they had studied textbook material either in silence or with the television turned on. Independent variable, studying with the television turned on. Dependent variable, in silence. 3, and that one is because the typical situation is studying in silence. So they want to see how much of watching it with the television or studying with the television on will affect your grade. 3, some elementary school teachers were told that a child's parents were college graduates, and other teachers were told that the child's parents had not finished high school. They then rated the child's academic potential. Independent variable, when the teachers were told that the child's parents were college graduates. Dependent variable, I'm sorry. I was giving you independent variable and experimental group, control group. So let's back up Sorry about that. Students watch the cartoon alone or with others. Independent variable, watching the cartoon with others. Dependent variable, how funny you find the cartoon, how funny they rated the cartoon. 2, comprehension test was given students. They studied textbook material in silence or with television on. Independent variable, studying with television on. Dependent variable, how they did on the comprehension test. 3, the independent variable is the children's parents, or the teachers were told children's parents for those students were college graduates. Dependent variable was how high the teachers rated academic potential. And by the way, in social psychology, that experiment's been done, and teachers rate students' potential much higher, and they actually put more time into the students who they believe are gifted or whose parents are really smart, even though in fact they're not. Workers at a company, number 4, were assigned to one of 2 conditions. One group completed a stress management training program. Another group of workers did not participate. The number of sick days taken was then examined for the 2 groups. Independent variable, the group of employees that took the stress management program. The dependent variable is the number of sick days that they missed. And the last one, students at a university were split into 2 groups and each received a different text for a philosophy course. One group received a traditional textbook while the other received an interactive textbook on a tablet computer. After the course, the final exam marks between the 2 groups were compared. Independent variable, interactive textbook, the students with the interactive textbook on a tablet computer. Dependent variable, the final exam scores of the 2 groups. Okay, so there you go for worksheets 2 and 3 as I posted. Please get into chapter 2, watch the videos I indicated in the announcement. But again, all of your assignments for the entire semester are already on the assignment calendar. So as soon as you finish one, take a look and get a head start on the next one. I do put them in the announcements as we go, but there really isn't a need for that because they're all there already. Okay? Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys. Well, I won't see you guys, but you'll see me on another video next week. Bye.